If you have a pulley key, meaning that it moves in and out of the piano in that direction, that's where you really notice it in the ground, because it affects back checking, hammer blow distance, yes, the touch, everything else. If you have a pulley key, the hole itself is quite oval. This will allow the key, again, to move in and out towards the piano. But once in a while, I think keys were so badly made or didn't have a quality key to begin with that just by normal wear, they've worn out at that center. The standard repair for something like that is water and glue. Okay, something like Tight Bond. Mix it up. Make sure the glue is well mixed with your water, and then I use a Q-tip to apply and to hold it there, because if you just put glue and water mixture on, it may not really get absorbed very well into the key, especially a quality key or an old key. It just sort of sits on top. You can avoid that sitting on top by adding a little bit of what's called wet water or alcohol to it, and it will absorb in the key a little better. Another thing to do is just swab that and stick it in there, and that will swell the wood. Okay, you'll have to wait 24 hours about to really get much use out of it. I would not recommend. I have heard people say to use again super glue and swab the hole, but that makes that hole awfully hard, and you'll have to re-drill because you can't control it. And super glue again tends to wick into the wood instead of sort of stay on the surface, and actually you want to rebuild a hole, the right size hole. And remember that center pins for keys, there's about 4 or 5 different sizes, so you really need to have drill bits that are the right size. Now, I did one type of repair here that many people have used over the years, and I did not finish the repair, but I showed how it's done, and you can do this in the field. Doesn't take much time at all. What you have to have is maple, and I cut pin blocks to have a good hard piece of maple to put in there. You make a saw kerf. You can do that with hacksaw blade. Is about the right thickness for what these pre-made maple pieces that I put in here. And you have to hit it in just the right spot, but mark the hole to where the forward portion of the maple insert is right there at the apex, or whatever you would call it, at the edge of the hole. If you miss, you can drill into the maple, but you'll probably end up drilling into the softer part of the key as opposed to the maple. And then you change your center area. Yeah. So pass that around.
You don't drill that then, huh? You try to get it as
you
close
can.
as you can.
You can drill it. If you didn't get it right, you can drill it.
Yeah. I mean, the object is to get it in.
Now, of course, I didn't trim.
Yeah.
I left that so everybody can see. Don't leave the bump on the bottom because you get...
I learned something from a woodwind repairman. He grinds up old clarinets, has powdered ebony, and he uses that, mix that with the glue, repair wood and holes and things.
I think it sounds like a fine idea. One other product that you can use is to make a similar type of saw kerf. It can be even thinner, but use the wood replacement that is sold by Allied Piano. It's a wood fiber, mix it with the accelerant and push it down in there, cram it down into your saw hole, and that you can drill. So you could even fill that hole if you marked carefully where that center hole was, and that's drillable. The problem with that product, and I didn't bring it, is it has a shelf life of maybe a year at the most, and mine is, I threw mine away recently because it didn't set up. But you can use that product also. I'll skip ahead to say for
Did you do
fingernail
this in
gouges.
Did you use the G5 to put this in?
No, I used Type Bond. If your saw kerf is just the right size and you cram it down in there, I could have trimmed that off immediately with a razor blade and stuck it in the piano. Inserts came in a couple of different thicknesses. It's a little donut-shaped type of thing here. Phenolic resin. Phenolic Type Bond really doesn't stick very well to it. I've used PVCE, which is an adhesive for basically anything, and there you would get it. Not every key pin itself is the same thickness, so you really do have to have a variety of key pins if you're going to use key pins to sample the hole. Even though I've elongated the hole pretty bad, it still can center. Just put your drill motor on a fairly slow feed, or try it in a drill press.